Before we get into the details of what might be involved in regulation, I want to ask you about the underlying economic news that seemed to drive the movement in Bitcoin and these other currencies overnight, and that is concern about the highly leveraged Chinese real estate sector and the overhang in financial markets. And I just want to ask you, as SEC chairman, whether you have concerns about the possibility of contagion in U.S. and international financial markets as a result of what's going on in China, and what steps you've been taking recently to try to protect our markets and our financial stability in this situation.
Look, we're a highly interconnected global economy. The U.S., only about 4% of the world's people, we're 23 or 4% of the economy, but 38% of the world's capital markets. So we have an outsized representation, but it's highly interconnected. Now, as it relates to China, we've been doing a number of things. We have about 270 China-related companies raising money here in the U.S. We've put a pause on new companies issuing in the U.S. Until we can enhance the disclosure. We have a basic bargain in the United States, been around for about 90 years since the Great Depression. Investors get to decide whether you invest, but the issuer has to give you full and fair disclosure, and we protect against fraud and the like and manipulation in the markets. That's one of my worries about crypto and the crypto asset class. But back to China, given some of the changes in the regulatory and political climate in China, we've asked issuers to put greater emphasis on the disclosure that usually all you're buying is a Cayman Islands company that has some legal arrangements with an operating company in China, and you don't actually own directly those Chinese companies. A second thing happening is about 19 years ago, there was another basic bargain that we set up an organization here in the United States to look at the auditing of the public companies. And it's about trust in our capital markets that you have somebody, it's called the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, that looks at the auditors to ensure that the numbers are accurate. And what do we find? 19 years later, 50 or so jurisdictions have allowed that, but 2 have not, and that's Hong Kong and China. And so Congress weighed in unanimously in the Senate, and it was taken up by the House and weighed in. And we're supposed to basically solve this in the next 3 years, meaning China needs to comply, their official sector and auditors need to comply, or we're going to be suspending trading for those 270 companies.